Hollywood trades are all diving in on the idea that the diving Disney stock in the shareholders meeting is a repudiation of politics. In fact, they're claiming that conservatives are on the run because of what Disney has done. Today, we'll explain why that's just dumb, and there may be far more to this story in terms of coordination between the House of Mouse and the halls of Hollywood. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the place that makes sense of the senseless weirdos of Hollywood. It's a fun time every time, and a video of excellence is indeed on the way. As we get ready to get underway, ladies and gentlemen, we only ask that you consider clicking that like button. And if you are a first-time visitor here, well, we're working hard every single day to earn a subscription, and we're happy that you've come our way. We'll get there. We promise. We'll try. And folks, let's get started with an explanation as to what in the world is going on with Disney, the Hollywood trades, and an effort perhaps to politicize, well, some very shady shareholder votes. All right, folks, take a look at this. It's out of Deadline. Disney shareholders shun MAGA in rejection of, all of that stuff at annual meeting. This is out of Deadline. It's part of the trades, and one of the trades, well, they are the mouthpieces for Hollywood. This is from Dominic Patton. And boy, oh boy, is this majorly misleading and unnecessarily incendiary to a large portion of the nation. Disney is scrapping a lot of its diversity programs as Trump's war on inclusion intensifies, but its shareholders today made a very timely and strong rejection of MAGA, I suppose. In balloting at the Bob Iger-run media giant's virtual annual shareholders meeting, Disney investors solidly voted down an effort to cut ties with respected equality study from a top alphabet group. Following unanimous recommendations from the James Gorman-chaired board, the shareholders also said no to an Elon Musk-inclined measure to probe Disney's alleged moves in recent years to demonetize platforms, podcasts, news outlets, and others for expressing disfavored political and religious viewpoints. We have received proxies for approximately 7% of shares voting to approve the proposal for Item 5, relating to consideration of participation in the Human Rights Campaign's Corporate Equality Index, Disney officials announced after the voting on proposals was completed. Continuing the quote, we have received proxies for approximately 1% of shares voting to approve the proposal for Item 6. Now, folks, before we go any farther, let me explain something that no matter which side of this you might be on, you're going to know that this is true. Whenever you hear in any election whatsoever that there are two choices, a binary choice, two candidates, and one of those candidates gets 1%. You can throw that out faster than you throw out the legitimacy of a North Korean democratic election. There is no way, Jose, that anything ever gets 1%. Jonas, that is a very candid take from me. It is my strongly held opinion. Jonas, what do you think about the idea that Disney held this shareholders meeting where there were no actual questions asked to Bob, just virtual shareholder questions. And since Disney leadership, well, their shareholders could have been their own questions they asked. You had issue after issue of ways that Disney manufactured, manicured, siloed, and curated this session. Jonas, what do you make of the idea that now it's being used as a way to say that this was a repudiation of a political movement?
Was a repudiation of that. It was also a repudiation of the climate change stuff that was on the ballot. So I would say that. I would say that and this is exactly the reason that they go with this headline as opposed to the more true headline, which was that the proposals about climate change also rejected the proposals about fairness in the Elon Musk one. Okay, technically it's about Elon Musk, but it's actually about GARM. Elon Musk is not mentioned in that proposal. Disney also, in their proposals, they took someone else's proposals, and then when they put them on the proxy ballots, they renamed them how Disney saw fit, which was something that, unless you're following the actual SEC filings of the Disney company, you wouldn't even know that these groups complained about it. They put their thumb on the scale, and also, I think the margin for error on these things is 3% anyways. So 1%, okay, could have been 4%. In a very underwhelming and poorly publicized year for this company. I think everyone is exhausted at the idea of fighting for the Disney company on the corporate boardroom level at this point. This is not a repudiation of anything. If anything, it's a repudiation of people's interest in the future of the Disney company.
Things are not going well for Disney, so whatever the repudiation might be, I don't know that you would gloat about it. By the way, folks, if you have held Disney stock for 10 years, you have less money today, and we're not even talking about inflation. You have less money today than you did 10 years ago in 2015. The stock was over the $100 mark in 2015. 10 years and the stock is down. That's incredible. Vash, they also bury these kinds of questions down at the bottom. All of this was set up in a way to make sure that you get a 1%. And again, folks, I'll say it again, and you all know this is true. You find any election where there's two candidates and one of them gets 1%, you can throw that out the door. That is total propaganda every single time.
Yeah, I think that's just the initial vote totals as well. I think there's a process by which they really count everybody up after the fact or whatever. So a decent time for headlines, and I think ProU astutely pointed out that they had a lot of text there for something that the media didn't quite know what was going to happen, or at least we think that's the case there. When the Walt Disney Company says, "Hey, look, listen, vote no or vote yes," they usually all just vote. A lot of people have their stuff in mutual funds and so forth, so you got these big institutional investors voting with other people's shares, and they're just going to go along with what the company actually says. I don't really see this as a big repudiation on MAGA, just on that specific proposal for the reasons listed right there. It's kind of similar to how you have, one party, another party, not voting for a bill, let's say, and then you look in the bill and it's like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have voted for that either, or would have voted for that featured text there. So I don't really give this much credence right here, but I do like Jonas's assessment where people are just kind of done trying to change the company for the better. It's like, you know what, they're going off and they're hitting the iceberg. There's not much we can do at this point.
Now, Vash, you brought up the article that came out very rapidly. So this is another trade. So people understand that the trades are, again, the mouthpieces of Hollywood. March 20th, 10:33 a.m. Pacific time. This is literally minutes. And the way you can know this is minutes after the vote happened is because the shareholders meeting started at 10 a.m. Pacific, and they had videos and all kinds of stuff. And then they did the discussion of how the meeting was going to progress. And then these were not the first items. Within minutes of this vote happening, Variety and Todd Spangler had this article up. Disney shareholders overwhelmingly reject proposal, yada, yada, yada. And if we scroll down, folks, you can see that this is not a short article. It doesn't seem to me possible or likely that this article was just generated within minutes of that happening. Seems to me that it was prepared, and how they would have known and been able to prepare is up for you to decide. Panel, I'll hand it to you, Real Life Fake Wizard Lauren. If you guys want to hop in on this discussion, you're welcome to. I know it's not necessarily the forte, but it's here our way anyway. Your thoughts on the idea that this Disney shareholders meeting with the Disney stock dropping is some sort of political repudiation?
I can't really talk too much to that. I'm behind on the news of the full day. I didn't get to watch everything with the shareholders meeting at all, so I don't really know everything. What I do know...
Hold on a second. When that happens,
yes,
and a host comes to you on a show like right now, we have more than 2,000 people watching. The correct way to handle that in the future, as an up-and-coming, exploding, meteorically rising YouTuber, is to say, well, Pro, I think it's a real paradigm shift, I tell you, and I'm watching this and the synergies that are happening with great interest. And then everybody will blink and think you're the smartest man on the panel. He said,
"Well, but I'm still there's still a point where I'm going to with it though, so it's not okay. I know where I'm kind of going.
That was a bit. I apologize. Go ahead, sir."
No, it's it's the same old. I've seen all of them before, so just because I didn't see this one, I've watched all the other ones with you guys, and it's the same old. Just putting on the song and dance. It's the dancing monkey, but on top of that, we're in a very, very, very unique situation right now where all of the major brands associated with Disney are collapsing and they're not improving. And today, and what we're going to get into is just a marker of that, of how this company does not care about course correcting. It doesn't care about any of us on this panel, doesn't care about any of us here in the chat, doesn't care about you at home. And they're going to do whatever they want to do. They don't care about their investors, in my humble opinion. And so I don't even, unfortunately, I don't care what they say anymore. I can't take them seriously. I'm done. I'm out. I'm apathetic. I'm here. I've got an outfit on, and I'm going to cover it in good objective faith, cover Snow White. But other than that, like, I'm done with Disney.
Darn it, folks. He's going to do it in a wizard's hat, a beard, and a Snow White costume. And you all better just pay attention to the greatness. By the way, Real Life Fake Wizard, that was far better than my suggestion. Do what you do. Don't do what I say. Lorne, I'm going to give you final word on it. Your final thoughts. Yes.
Really, I think you guys have pretty much covered it. I don't really have a lot to add. The only thing that I would say is that obviously they're putting on these highly staged investor meetings, as Real Life Fake Wizard just said. They have kind of gotten where they understand what the incendiary questions are going to be, and they're going to do everything that they can to avoid it. They're not planning to change course or make corrections in the social issues where we would like to see them tacking towards the middle. They may try and skirt around it and to get a little less heavy-handed in some of their productions, and they might diversify a bit in saying that we'll have more targeted stuff here, less targeted stuff there. But when it comes to the stock price, I think it kind of speaks for itself. I think that they're going to have a very rough patch coming forward for the rest of the year. I don't think that they have a lot of good things on the horizon to talk about. But I still think that because the board is handpicked by Iger and Iger is still in charge, unless the investors seriously start turning the screws, and remember, most of those investors that have the power to do so are the big hedge funds that aren't the individual investors like us in the audience, it's going to be difficult to make them change until they have no choice whatsoever.
Well, it's an interesting thing. I want to go ahead and ask Pro this. If this is supposed to be a repudiation on MAGA, and yeah, I mean, we're not seeing much change at the top right there. Is this also kind of a semi-endorsement of Dana Walden as the next CEO, despite what Matthew Belloni has recently reported regarding her association?
I knew that's what you were going to ask. And the answer is, unless they go with an external candidate, yes. All right, folks, as Jim Carrey says that Walter Cronkite might have expressed, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. We are done for now, but don't worry. Do not fret. Not yet, for more content is still coming your way 4 times a day right here on the Pro channel. What a joy it has been to share our time with you. We hope you feel the same. Adding value to your every single day is our job here, and we take it very seriously. Folks, the only thing we ask in return is that you consider clicking that like button. Share, subscribe, click it. Stick it to those algorithms. It's the notification bell. And drop a comment right on down below. And folks, if you'd like to subscribe to our partner YouTube channels, That Park Place, That Pod Place, That Game Place, and some of those radio stations like Vacation Radio, well, we certainly would appreciate it. Until the next time we have the honor of spending time and being invited into your day, folks, we go on our way saying this: keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.